Hello, dear friends. Namaskar. Welcome to Awarezen. It's a beautiful space where we can come together to explore the nature of consciousness, the meaning and purpose of existence, on freedom, peace, joy, love, and goodness. Thank you for being here. Today, I'd like to speak about certain misconceptions or myths about meditation. And I'll just like to focus on 3 of them. The first one has to do with our ideas of success and failure. In our day-to-day lives, we are often told that it is good to succeed and it's bad to fail. An improvement on that idea is that, well, failure can be very good as well. If we can learn from failure, do better next time, and eventually succeed. While the second approach is a little better than the first, they are both misconceptions from the view of meditation. In life, as in meditation, there is no such thing as success or failure. Success is a label, and so is failure. They are labels constructed out of an association of thoughts and meanings that we have weaved together into a story that we believe to be true. I have spoken about stories and story making in my previous talks, so I won't go into that. But what I like to say and what I like to emphasize is this very important wisdom, if you like, the wisdom of no success and no failure, especially when it comes to meditation. You see, because of the conditioning of our minds by society, by culture, we have latched on to this idea of success and failure in a hyper-zealous way. Those of us who live in industrialized societies face the pressure to succeed and are often terrified of failure. And somehow when we come to meditation, we bring this unnecessary baggage with us into meditation. We superimpose upon our meditation our unhealthy, unskillful concepts of success and failure. But you might ask me, hey, wait a minute, isn't there something that we need to do or to learn or to grow from? Isn't there something that tells us we might be perhaps practicing something not quite rightly? Indeed, there is such a thing. We call it information. We call it feedback. So that indeed, in life, as in meditation, there is feedback. There is information that we can receive in order to learn, to grow, to evolve, and to meditate in a way that gives us peace and freedom. But information and feedback is not necessarily success or failure. So let's remember this. There is no success or failure, only feedback, only information. And rather than getting bogged down or depressed by feedback or getting elated and proud about the feedback we receive, we can adopt an open, learning, wise attitude to feedback. So if the feedback is positive, as so to speak, we can use that feedback to enhance our practice. If the feedback is negative, we can also use that feedback to enhance our practice. Bearing in mind that this act of enhancing is not done with anxiety or with attachment, but with a lightness and spaciousness. It's born out of joy and passion. The passion to go deep, the passion to go all the way in our meditation. The second myth about meditation I'd like to talk about is in relation to enlightenment. This concept of enlightenment that we often hear about in spiritual teachings or teachings of meditation. Enlightenment is often painted as this ideal state of human perfection, of perfect wisdom, perfect compassion, perfect clarity, perfect strength, perfect joy, perfect this and that. And it comes at the end of a long, long process of development, of practice. And without 1,000,000 hours of sitting on your bums, there's no way you can be enlightened. So that's a common caricature of enlightenment. And often we hear enlightenment as the goal at the end of a long path. So what I'm about to say may sound a bit radical or even shocking, but enlightenment is now or never. It is now or never because enlightenment does not take place in time. Enlightenment is not about acquiring, gathering, accumulating, whether materially or spiritually. It's not about our self-efforts. It's not about our incessant striving rooted in a separate, isolated self. The more we strive from this place of lack, the more we try to achieve from this inner insecurity and vacuity, the more we will encounter affliction, suffering, and enlightenment is nowhere to be found. In truth, enlightenment is not what we do or what we achieve, of who we are. It's more about just simply resting in who we are. Inquiry. It's about as much as you need in going into the heart of who you are. And as I've said before, inquiry transcends knowledge, transcends thought making, and yet is clear, sharp, and uses our reasoning faculty to its maximum state. So enlightenment is now. But if you cling on to the notion of steps and stages, if you cling on to the notion that there's a map towards enlightenment that you need to adopt from someone else, then you run the risk of never finding enlightenment. Superimposing someone else's map onto your own living experience is not enlightenment. So we can explore this further in the future. And the final myth I like to talk about today is in relation to meditation as an activity. Like enlightenment, meditation is not what we do, meditation is who we are. Meditation flows forth from our ground of being as a spontaneous activity, spontaneous dynamism, spontaneous expression of awareness itself. It is awareness calling unto awareness. As our thoughts and our images, our perceptions and sensations occur as crystallizations and modulations of awareness, they are nonetheless permeated by knowing. And it is that knowing within our thoughts, within our emotions, within our experiences, that brings us back to the very essence of awareness itself. It's awareness calling up unto awareness. It's knowing attracting knowing. And because it's such a spontaneous activity, if we can call it an activity at all, that ethos or spirit of meditation becomes one of resting, releasing, abiding. So here at Awarezen, we emphasize this aspect of meditation as ground, meditation as who we naturally are. Of course, within that sphere of natural being, there can be spontaneous, creative activity of imagining, or visualizing, or recollecting that we can playfully explore as tools of meditation. So we will look into that in future talks. So right now, I'd like to invite you all to meditate together with me as I give a few pointers on meditative inquiry. So let's sit comfortably, your back straight, free of tension, hands on your lap. Close your eyes if you wish, or just let your eyes be relaxedly open. Up to you. Immediately enter into the presence of your own being. Witnessing your in-breath and out-breath. Stay with each breath from beginning to end. Notice if there are any gaps between your in-breath and the out-breath, between the out-breath and the next in-breath. What is there in that gap? Rest your gaze on that space between two breaths. While remaining comfortable and breathing naturally. Notice if any thoughts are arising. Notice if there are any spaces between your thoughts. Rest your gaze on the space between two thoughts. What is there in that space? The thought might pop up and disappears, leaving a space before another thought comes up. Notice that space and inquire, what is that? The question itself, what is that, is a thought. Let that thought dissolve and maintain that curiosity, that sense of perplexity, a sense of inquiry, silently looking to see what is there. Release the question and be in that luminous field of inquiry. Now you may finish up this meditation and inquiry. Open your eyes. So there you have it, inquiring into the space between thoughts, the space between breaths, not needing an answer, but full of curiosity, playfulness, a restful ease. Fascinating, fascinated, and wonderfully here and now. So if you have any questions, do feel free to type in the comments on this video. And in future talks, we shall explore more and more issues and topics pertaining to meditative inquiry into awareness. So thank you all, dear friends. Be well and happy, and rest in your natural state. Namaskar.